Is Fabregas off to Old Trafford? Could Zlatan land in Madrid? The summer market's open, but is Wenger getting cold feet? And in added time, I put your questions to our panel. Joining me today are former Chelsea captain Dennis Wise and goal correspondent Greg Stobart. I'm Matt Lorenzo. This is Transfer Talk. So time to discuss some new business, fresh stories, fresh rumours, fresh exclusives. Thiago's gone to Bayern, so Fabregas goes to United.
Moyes is desperate for a creative midfielder. They've missed out on Thiago, but they've made a big move for Fabregas now. They've offered €30 million. I don't think it would be their last bid. And for me, he's the perfect kind of player for what they need.
Yeah, I think he is. I think it will happen. I really do. I think over the years, I think Paul Scholes has obviously got older. You know, and they haven't really replaced someone like him, and I think he'd be the perfect replacement to come in for Scholes. You know, he's very creative, plays off the front man, and obviously he's going to team up with his old friend Van Persie, and I think that'd be great. It will, I think, open the door then for the Rooney situation.
I think it'll be a difficult move to do, not least because Fabregas, in an ideal world, would want to stay at Barcelona. It's his hometown club. He moved heaven and earth to get there in the first place from Arsenal. He's only been there for 2 years. But if Barcelona are willing to sell him, and you wonder whether they will be after they've already sold Thiago, he'd definitely be open to a move to United and a return to England. But also Arsenal have got a 25 million buyback clause which could come into operation as well. So he might end up having to choose between a return to Arsenal or a move to Man United.
OK, Cavani apparently has upset Ibrahimovic by just arriving, so Ibrahimovic is on his way to Real Madrid.
Mino Raiola, Ibrahimovic's agent, would love that to happen. He's offered Ibrahimovic to Real Madrid for €20 million. For Real Madrid, that's just too much money for a 31-year-old, and his wage is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, I think the wages side of it, I think it won't happen. I think the one I can see happening is Suarez going to Real Madrid. I really could, you know, and I think he would suit their style of play. You know, he's a lot younger as well. He's 26, and I think Ibrahimovic is 31, so he's getting past that stage, and he'll be too expensive, I think, and I think Suarez would be perfect to go to Real Madrid.
Ancelotti does love Ibrahimovic. He worked with him last year, obviously, at PSG. But from Real Madrid's point of view, they'd rather keep Higuain there and then sign someone like Suarez or, in their dreams, Gareth Bale.
Well, Man City have been spending steadily, as you might expect. Jovetic next up.
Yeah, they already spent 50 million on Navas and Fernandinho, but it's not over. They're trying to catch United. They've agreed a €30 million deal to sign Stefan Jovetic from Fiorentina. Very classy, number 10 in the whole. His goal scoring record isn't amazing. It's only 1 in 3 games, but he's the replacement for Tevez really after they missed out on Isco, and he'll give a bit of creativity. And Pellegrini's he's making his mark at City now.
Yeah, I'm not sure he's the right replacement for Tevez, you know, and I think Tevez is more a goal scorer and more of a creator. He's a better player, you know, he's only young, Jokovic, but I see it's a difficult situation there, and I think he's not quite the one for me to replace Tevez of the quality that he has.
What you would say about Jovetic is he's very talented, and it's not just City who've been looking at him. They've beaten a lot of clubs to him. They've stumped up the cash. Arsenal were interested, United were interested, so there's something about him. But City have got there. He's going to complete his medical this week, so it's definitely happening. But I think it's a coup for City, but it's always how a player like this will settle into the Premier League as well.
So now we move on to our headliners, the big transfer deals that have been bubbling away all summer long. Well, they're supposed to be bubbling away. 6 weeks ago, Arsenal were the story. They had money to spend, and they were going to spend it quick. They haven't. Ivan
Gazidis got the Arsenal fans very excited when he said they could afford to spend £200,000 a week on a player's wages. He suggested they could spend tens of £millions on transfer fees, which isn't the way Arsenal have operated in recent years. But it hasn't happened yet. They're going for big names, the likes of Suarez and Higuain. But so far, the only player they've got is Sonogo, a classic Arsenal signing, a young player with potential. But they need to get their chequebook out if they're going to compete for trophies. I
think that's right. I think the problem with Arsenal, I think, is they're going for the same players as Man United, Chelsea, Man City, and I think, you know, as a player, and you look at this, and you got an opportunity to play at Arsenal, look at an opportunity to play at Chelsea, and you choose Chelsea because why? Because players at that level want to win trophies and they want to win competitions, and because Arsenal, they haven't won for such a long time. You're more, as a player, going to tip towards the bigger teams, Man United, the Man Cities and the Chelseas.
And that's the issue with players like Rooney or Fellaini.
You know, if you look at Fellaini and you look at, like you say, Rooney, you know, if there's a choice, you've got to pick a choice. Arsenal, Chelsea, Arsenal, Man United, you're going to go with the bigger teams, the ones that win trophies.
And the other problem is it's very hard to get Arsene Wenger to change his ways just like that. He's been a dilly-dallyer for a while now. He's got a superb scouting system, but he's very indecisive. He's always looking for value. And the fact is, you have to pay what a selling club are willing to accept for a player. And he's never really willing to put himself out there and spend that big money. And he's not got a great record when it comes to spending big money either. To get from fourth to first, you have to buy the very best players, and it's hard to do.
Talking of the very best players, you mentioned Gareth Bale earlier on. Is no news good news for Spurs fans?
He's going to stay. He's going to stay. I think Spurs are very confident that he'll stay now. They won't accept any bid unless it was absolutely ridiculous. We're talking world record. You look at the way the marketing machine's working around Bale now. He's got his billboard up in Times Square. He's fronting a popular computer game. It looks like he's prepared to stay at Spurs for another year. He's not the kind of player who'll kick up a fuss or go on strike like Luka Modric did last year. And I think for his career, one more year as the main man at Spurs will work out best for him. Real Madrid are desperate for him. Their fans have been calling for him. The president's been talking about him. I think he'll end up there one day, but it won't be this summer.
The good thing about Spurs is that there isn't a get-out clause, and I think that was so important, you know. And he's got 4 years left on his contract. He'll see another year. I can see him doing another year and seeing whether or not they compete and get into the Champions League. I think that will be so important this year for Spurs to take that next step to get into the Champions League, you know. And I think if they get there, they might then have a small possibility of maybe keeping him another year. But I can see him going in a year's time. But you know what? He's a good guy. He's a decent guy, and he doesn't, like Greg says, he doesn't kick up a fuss. He gets on with things, and he's well focused in his mind. And I think at the right time, not quite now, maybe in a year's time, he will move on.
But there's no argument that Bale's the kind of player who deserves to be playing the Champions League every week. Last year he was the best player in the country, so you know you can't begrudge him a move when he gets one eventually. But it makes next season massive for Spurs, so they need to invest to keep Bale, to keep Villas-Boas even, and to get in Champions League next year. So they've already bought Paulinho for 17 million. Looks like they're going to go for Benteke in a big way as well. So that's what they need to do to build a team that can get in the Champions League next year.
And there you have it, our headliners for this week. So we move into added time, where I can put some of our viewers' questions directly to you. First up, Panzer182 on YouTube, with Mkhitaryan joining Dortmund, who now is Liverpool's top transfer target.
I think the young lad at Ajax, which is Christian Eriksen, is the target for Liverpool. I think he's a talented young attacking midfield player, and I think he'd be very good for them.
OK, another tweet, this from Untouchable Toby. He wants to know what the latest is on Torres. If Chelsea want a big-name striker, you need to free up some space.
I think Mourinho would sell Torres in a heartbeat if he could get in a top-class replacement. The problem is Chelsea have really struggled this season to get in that class striker. Falcao, Cavani and Lewandowski are all going elsewhere.
OK, one more from Gareth Quirk, another tweet. What's the future of Xabi Alonso? Will he leave Real this summer?
I could actually see him going to Arsenal. I think he would be an Arsene Wenger, a great signing for Arsenal. I really would. He would help Wilshere and Ramsey, I think, in midfield. I think he'd be perfect there.
I wouldn't disagree with that. I think he knows the Premier League, he's suited to it, and I don't think he's going to play a lot for Real Madrid next season, so he'd be a very good signing for someone like Arsenal.
Thanks, Greg, and thank you too for watching. If you like our video, press the subscribe button. And if you want to ask us a question, use YouTube, Facebook or Twitter. And if you want to know more about any of the stories we've discussed, head on over to Goal.